the there was a man who appeared in the court of Prophet Sulaiman alayhi salam, who was very afraid because that day he told Prophet Sulaiman that he had seen Israel, the angel of death, alayhi salam, and he was very fearful, and he asked Prophet Sulaiman to send him to as far of a place as possible, to India, and so Prophet Sulaiman, he granted him his wish, and he made him appear in India.
He ordered the wind. He ordered the wind to take him to India.
Sorry about that. Yes.
Yeah.
He ordered the wind to take him to India.
Yeah.
He ordered the wind to take him to India, and then the next day, Prophet Sulaiman summoned Israel alayhi salam in his court, and he asked him. He said, "Why did you look at this person with anger so as to scare him, and now he's homeless and stranded and wandering in some other land, some foreign land, far away from home?" And he said, I wasn't angry with him, and the man misunderstood me. When I saw him, I was just in shock and surprise, and he misunderstood me. He took that shock and surprise for anger. I was surprised because that just earlier I had received a command from God that I'm going to be taking this person's life in India. And I thought to myself, how is that possible? Even if this person has 100 wings, there's no way he's going to be able to get himself to India today. And then I, by the command of God, I transported myself. I was transported, or I appeared in India, and there you and to my surprise, I saw him. He was there, and I took his life. And Mawlana Rumi, he tells this story, and he says that this is an allegory, right? The man, right? He is a symbol of our greed, our not greed, but our hirs. I'm looking for the English word for hirs. Our
strong desire, let's say.
Yes, strong desire, and take India as an analogy for the effort that we put in to essentially try to flee from God's decree, and that we should see everything that we do in our lives, the way that we try to run away from our fate and destiny, the way that we try to fight against it. We should take it as this analogy.
Yeah.
So now we're going to be continuing essentially this topic, and so I'll go ahead and get started with the next set of couplets.
Beautiful.
هر چه آید ز آسمان سوی زمین، نه مفر دارد نه چاره نه کمین. ای که جزو این زمینی سر مکش، چون که بینی حکم یزدان در مکش. So whatever may come from heaven to the earth, نه مفر دارد means there's no refuge from it, نه چاره, no remedy, نه کمین, no hiding place. ای که جزو این زمینی سر مکش, oh you who are part of this earth, Sarmakesh means don't try to struggle against it, or don't try to
don't
rebel.
revolt. Don't revolt. Yeah.
Right, don't revolt or rebel against it.
Right.
Chun ke bini hukm yazdan dar makesh. When you see the decree of God, dar makesh, do not withdraw from it.
Right.
It's disobedience. افکنین تدبیر خود را پیش دوست گرچه تدبیرت هم از تقدیر اوست. So افکنین تدبیر خود, it means rid yourself of this scheming of yours, پیش دوست, before the beloved. گرچه تدبیرت هم از تقدیر اوست, even though your scheming is in fact part of his decree.
That's beautiful. Yeah, it is beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful.
So even if when you are doing it, consider this, that this is how he intended you to react.
Yes. Yeah, mashallah.
Mm.
Yeah, subhanallah.
Mm.
چون فراموشت شود تدبیر خیش یابی آن بخت جوان از پیر خیش. When you forget your own devising, یابی آن بخت جوان از پیر خیش, you will gain that happy fortune from your peer, or your murshid, your spiritual guide.
Oh, peer here it means spiritual guide, not the old. Bakht Jawan as Peer Khish. So Jawan and Peer is young and old.
Yeah, you're right. It is. I took it to mean peer as, your peer, your murshid, or your guide.
Then Jawan doesn't then fit in that.
Yeah, you're right.
Bakht Jawan is your life, healthy fortune or destiny, as Peer Khish, from the one that may not be so good, I thought. But maybe, either way, it may make the same kind of a point.
I agree.
Mm.
چون فراموش خودی یادت کند بنده گشتی آنگه آزادت کند. So it means when you are so چون فراموش خودی یادت کند means when you're forgetful of yourself. بنده گشتی آنگه چون فراموش خودی means when you are forgetful of yourself, yadat konad means he will remember you. Bande gashti, when you become a slave, angah azadet konad, then you will be set free.
On the spot, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's the true freedom comes from submission.
Total submission, yes.
Total submission to what has been decreed for you. and total acceptance. So
okay. Let's stop here, and if you want to elaborate on something, and elaborate it now as to how it relates to struggle and trying to change your destiny that humans do. So maybe we can entertain questions here, or you can just elaborate first, and then we can discuss this, because this is very, very heavy topic.
Yeah.
And here, if you follow exactly the message that Rumi is giving here, he's saying that when you see the decree, do not struggle in front of it. Do not try to think that you can change it, even if you fly over to India when it's time for you to go. That is the time for you. Here, the only point I want to make, with your permission, Mahdi, is to say that this particular thing relates probably only to Qadar, not to Taqdeer. And I think in some discussion further, if this goes on, then we can talk about Taqdeer compared to Qaza. Qaza is the time for you to leave this worldly existence. That time is written, that you cannot change.
Mm-hmm.
But the things that you receive in life, literature mostly tells us that with your good deeds and with your virtues, you may be able to build your own taqdeer, a reward that you will get in this life. So that is the distinction I want to make, because these lines are totally submission here. He says you can't change anything, don't even try. So that's the point I wanted to make. Yeah.
No, yeah, I agree with all of that. I think very beautifully said.
Is Tahir Bhai on?
I'm looking right now. I don't see Brother Tahir.
Okay. Anybody else wants to make a comment about why this is total, why here Rumi is discouraging us even to struggle to change our destiny? Probably not. Okay, it's probably clear.
I think so too. So if you want, I can continue.
Continue, please.
Okay. So then over here, Sheikh Mulla Kashifi, he adds in a couple of lines where he says, he's explaining what the next set of couplets is about. So he says, Dar bayana an ke jam'i be sirr qadr dana shudand, nazar bar bidayat hal darand. So he's saying that the next set of couplets is about how those who have become aware and knowledgeable of the secrets of Qadar, right? Nazar bar bidayat hal darand. So I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Abdul Rahman, I think what that means is their focus is on the beginning, bidayat hal. So I think what their focus is on being present rather than
on what is around them, what they have at the time, or what they perceive at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah.
بخلاف جمعی که بدین نکته نرسیدن. So it's saying, on the contrary, those who have not gained awareness of this secret of Qadr, as nihayat kar tarsidand, they, on the other hand, are fearful of the end, what is to come for them.
Yes, for the end result. Yes.
So those who are aware of Qadr, their focus is on now, what's around them.
Yeah.
Those who have not arrived at it, they're fearful of what's coming for them for the future.
Yeah.
So then he cites this saying, which I don't know where it's from. همه از انتها ترسند و من از ابتدا ترسم.
Somebody else's poem, but it's beautiful.
Yes. Everybody is fearful of the end, but I'm fearful of the beginning.
No. Everybody is worried about as to what is going to happen to them. And I am still concerned about, or not fearful, but why, I don't know why he said there's some, he said there is an Urdu verse like that by Iqbal, who says that पता नहीं मेरी इंतहा क्या है, अब मैं भी इसी सोच में गुम हूं कि मेरी इब्तिदा क्या है. why should I worry about what is going to happen to me? Because I'm still wondering as to how about when I started and where from did I started, how grand it was when
Ah,
the beginning began. So that was the essence of a
I think,
poem that Iqbal has.
and I think that's what it's saying. Oh, that's what this also means here, because when we read this, the next set of couplets, that's exactly what it's saying. So maybe we'll go into the words of Maulana Rumi and try to
Then
get
we'll
a better
yeah.
understanding of this concept.
Yeah.
کار آن دارد که پیش از تن بوده است، بگذر از اینها که نو حادث شده است. کار عارف کار عارف راستگو نه احول است، چشم او بر کشت های اول است. So کار آن دارد که پیش از تن بوده است. It means kar, the matter, right? The only thing that matters is that which has existed before the body. بگذر از اینها که نوها this شده است. So it means, move beyond these things. Move beyond those those things which are which can know how this should ask, those things which have only recently come into being, those things which are temporal, as you and fleeting, as they say. Don't worry about that. کار عارف راستگو نه احول است، چشم او بر کشت‌های اول است. So that which matters belongs to the arif, right? The Gnostic. که او نه احول است. He is not ahval, which means ahval means he's not. So over here it translates it as squint-eyed. In Farsi, another word for this is kajbin, somebody who sees crooked, who
perfect. The kajbin translates it very well. Kajbin, yes.
Right, somebody who doesn't doesn't see with a focused eye, who can't see straight, who sees in two different places at once. چشم او بر کشت‌های اول است. So the eye of the arif is focused on that which has been planted from the beginning,
right?
That which was, or over here it says sown first. So this is actually what similar to what you were just saying, Dr. Abdul Rahman. My eyes, I'm focused on how I got here, right?
Exactly.
Right. آنچه گندم کاشتندش و آنچه جو، چشم او آنجاست روز و شب گرو. آنچه آبست است شب جز او نزاد، حیله ها و مکرها باد است باد. So آنچه گندم کاشتندش و آنچه جو. So it means whatever of wheat and barley has been sown, چشم او آنجاست روز و شب گرو. So day and night, the arif, his eyes are focused day and night on that, on what was planted from the beginning, that which was sown from the beginning. Anche albestas shab juz u nazad. So it means, so it says that the night, whatever the night is pregnant to, it does not deliver anything except for that. Nothing except for that which the night is pregnant to gets delivered. The trickery and the plots are all wind. nothing but wind.
Mhm.
گر بروید و ور بریزد صدگاه عاقبت بر روید آن کشت اله. So it says whether even though in the meanwhile hundreds of plants grow and fade, عاقبت بر روید آن کشت اله. In the end, the only plant or the only herb that grows is that which God has planted.
Right.
کشت اصل آن است کش حق کشته است، کشت دیگر فرع اول گشته است. So کشت اصل means the original seed that was planted is that which haq, or God, right? The haq, the truth, or God has planted. کشت دیگر فرع اول گشته است. So any other seeds that were planted are a branch of the first seed, right? Any other plants that are, or any other plants, or any other anything else that comes is a branch, or is a consequence of that very first plant.
Offshoot of that, yes.
Offshoot, yes. کشت نو کارند بر کشت نخست، این دوم فانی است و آن اول درست. So کشت نو, the new plant, right? The new offshoot. کارند بر کشت نخست. It's the new plant, or the new thing that has grown is an offshoot of that which was planted originally by God.
Yeah, you can say crop also for kisht here, because that I think it's where he's taking us now.
Yes. این دوم فانی است و آن اول درست. So it's saying this second one, right,
is perishable.
Is perishable, and the original one, that first one, is the correct one.
Right.
تخم اول کامل و بگزیده است. تخم اول کامل و بگزیده است. تخم ثانی فاسد و پوسیده است. So the first seed is the one that's complete and selected, or superior. تخم ثانی فاسد و پوسیده است. The second one is the one that's corrupt and rotten. Right.
Corrupt and rotten, perfect translation for fasid or posida.
Yeah.
I was thinking, fasid.
Yeah. کار آن دارد که حق افراشته است، آخر آن روید که اول کاشته است. So کار آن دارد که حق افراشته است. So it's saying that which God has raised, and that alone is what's useful. آخر آن روید که اول کاشته است. What he has planted or sown is what finally will grow. 100,000 عقل بر هم برجهند تا به غیر دام او دامی نهند. So hundreds of thousands of minds will work together and conspire to lay a trap other than the trap which Allah has laid, or to come up with a plan other than Allah's plan, other than what He has laid. دام خود را سخت‌تر یابند بس کی نماید قوتی با باد خس. دام خود را سخت‌تر یابند بس. So here it's saying they only find their plot more difficult for themselves. And then it's saying ki namayat quvvati ba bad khas. So this is actually a question. So saying who is to be able to compete and stand against the wind. Khas, so it's saying khas is the straws, the weeds, the thorns. Can they stand against the wind? Of course not, right? Yeah. When the wind blows, everything is gonna move with it.
Yeah, he's putting a question mark. How can a straw stand in front of a strong wind?
Right. Yeah. این قضا بادیست سخت و تندخو خلق چون خس عاجزند اندر پیش.
Wow. Beautiful.
Right. So in qaza, so this decree bodies, this decree is a wind sakht و tundkhu. It's a very severe and harsh wind. Khalq chun khas ajizand andar pishu. So it's saying khalq, mankind and the creation are all powerless, when they come up against this wind.
Like that straw, yes.
Like the straw, exactly. Ame az bim qaza dar larze and khasgan az bim u yaband gand. So this is, I think, the sweet part over here. So it's saying
Kand is the sweet part for you.
Yeah. So Ame, so the layman as bim qaza dar larzan. So the laymen are fearful and are shaking in fear, are shaking out of fear for what has been decreed for them.
In front of them, not laymen, but ordinary people.
Ordinary people, thank you.
Yeah.
Ordinary people are worried about their futures and what has been, what's in front of them.
Right.
Khasgan, the special people, as bim'u yaband gand. So over here, it's saying the special people from his. So this is, maybe you can help me with this, Dr. Abdul Rahman. So over here it says khasagan as beam, and then over here it points to zahr, which means poison. So it's saying the special people from God's poison find sugar.
Yes, well, not God's poison, Qadar's poison.
Qadar's poison. Okay, yes.
From its deleterious effects, they actually find that this is very sweet for them.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Directed to Qadar, not to God, then you're fine.
To Qadar, yes.
We made poison, so you have to say it.
As bima'u, yes. So those
from its killing or for its fatal effects, they actually find pleasure in it, sweetness in it. They look for the Qadar because they call it wasl with yar, wasl with those, meeting with the beloved.
Beautiful. نیست ما را از غذای حق گله آر نباشد شیر را از سلسله. So So nist mara az ghazay haq gele. So it means we have no complaint against that which God has decreed for us, against God's decree.
Yeah.
Ar na'ayad shir ra az silsile. So it's saying there's no shame for a lion to be in chains or to be in shackles. So here I looked into this a little bit more deeply, and shir here is one way to interpret this is the shirane tariqat khoda, right? Those who are the lions of God's tariqah, the lions of God's path. Those who are the people of submission and being satisfied with God's decree. Those lions, for them, there's no shame in being tied in God's shackles.
That's exactly right. Yes. Yep.
So then this last 4 lines, I'll conclude with this. گر قضا 100 بار قصد جان کند، هم قضا جان بخشد و درمان کند. So if qadar, if divine decree or divine destiny 100 times tries to take your life, هم قضا جان بخشد و درمان کند. It's the same divine decree which also gives life and gives the cure as well. گر قضا پوشد سیه همچون شبت، هم قضا دستت بگیرد عاقبت. If the divine decree wears black like the night, هم قضا دستت بگیرد عاقبت. It's that same divine decree which also takes your hand, which takes your hand in the end, right? And takes you to safety.
Yeah. Okay.
این قضا 100 بار اگر راحت زند، بر فراز چرخ خرگاهت زند. So even if this divine decree 100 times rahat zanad means if you're traveling and you get robbed, that's what, when we say in Farsi, we say that's called rah zadan. Somebody gets robbed while they're on their way traveling. So it's saying if divine decree robs you and leaves you stranded 100 times, بر فراز چرخ خرگاهت زند. That same divine decree also is what will lift you on to a very high and majestic chariot, wheels that'll take you for the rest of your journey. So I think, yeah, I will stop there. If you want to have some discussion or share some thoughts. The last several verses where you translate qaza as you have been saying decree, if you were to just say the death, then some of these verses will become even more simpler. He's talking about death here, basically, rather than the divine decree, other than taking your life away. So it becomes a little bit easier for many of these verses to really open up the meanings. So when he's talking specifically, the way I read it, about actually ending this life here on earth and coming into the next realm of life. So the enjoyment that those people who are in love with their creator get from death, they want it again and again. Mm.
Only those who really are not connected to him and are not aware of their end, and they worry about what will happen, those who do not believe in hereafter, those are the ones that worry about it and are actually tortured in this life, rather than the ones that have already reconciled and submitted themselves, realizing that when the death comes, there isn't anything that they can do. This, I think, if we call it death, then I think it's easier for us to keep the tadbir or the efforts to improve ourselves in life and change our destiny. Then that becomes easier to understand. That's my thought.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I had a question.
Sure.
Does it also kind of ask us to reflect about the impermanence of the earthly things that we try to hold on to and the permanence of our return to our creator?
Absolutely.
And the life that has been blown into the spirits is like a comparison with the seed that that Rumi has spoken about, and the route that we take towards our end, which is ultimately reaching to our creator. No matter, so the different growths that he has spoken about are the different deeds that we do, and we think that we are capable of changing that divine decree, but ultimately, no matter which route we take, whatever is the qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is inevitable.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
precisely.
Chris, yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head.
That hurts. Hitting the nail on the head. You see, many times when we make rounds in hospital wards, if any of the residents make a comment, killing two birds with one stone, I always object. No killing, please, in this business. So hitting the nail on the head looks very violent act, but that means really making the point exactly where it belongs. Yes, that is the message here. That
There was
Qadar,
one more thing. There was one more thing that I was thinking about. The cycles of events in our life, the birth and the end of it. Does this refer to that as well? Because we hold on to the earthly things, and we feel that whatever we are doing to achieve that thing will be the permanent will be permanent.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the end is inevitable of that cycle as well. The holding on to a thing, for example, if we feel that, okay, so the happiness is going to stay forever, it ultimately doesn't. There is a cycle to it. There is a birth of that happiness, and there is an end of that happiness. But in the end, even the end of that happiness teaches us something and begins a new cycle, which leads on to greater happiness, ultimately to the return to our creator.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep. Beautiful. Very well said.
We still have 6 minutes before.
If not Nasser or Shibli, if you have any comments or thoughts.
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine. Thank you. This has been a very, very worthwhile and amazing session today.
Yeah, thank you for joining.
Okay, so since I have a couple of minutes, Brother Mahdi, can I say something?
Please do.
I think it's appropriate here to make a comment. I had once mentioned about Moses' story about him going to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's presence up in Kohetur that he used to go and talk. Once a lady asked him, is there anything written for me? Because I am married 10, 15 years, whatever she said, and I haven't had an offspring yet. Is there anything written for me to have a child? So he asked, and he came back and God told her that no, there was. I asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he told me no, there is no offspring in your destiny. So she was a little disappointed. Then several days later, she saw a fakir walk by who looked kind of hungry and thirsty. And she kind of offered him some meal or some water. And he just raised his hands and prayed for her. And may you have, all the blessings and all your prayers be answered. And she prayed for a child. And obviously, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala listened to her. As the story goes, listened to her prayer, and she had an offspring following year. And then a couple of years went by, and she was once walking with that child, and then she saw Moses coming by. And then she reminded him, Moses, remember you said that there is no child written in my destiny, and look here, my son is now 3 years old or whatever his age was, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted me one. So Moses was surprised. And the next meeting he had with his creator, he asked that you had told me no, and yet she has one. And he was told that yes, but afterwards, a friend of mine prayed for her to have. He requested me that I grant him a child, and I did. So, and Moses, but when you came to me, you simply asked a question. You did not say that you want her to have one or you prayed for her or anything. You basically questioned me, and I told you the status at that time. Later on, I changed it. I am still Katib-e Taqdeer. I still write the people's destiny, and Kun Fayakun still goes on, and I'm still the creator. So there are certain things that probably are worldly in nature that keep changing with your efforts. So if you read the last 6 lines of Jawab-e Shikwa, Iqbal's poem, famous poem Shikwa Jawab-e Shikwa, the last 6 lines, then he says, then it says, let me just read this because this is very pertinent to this discussion that we had. He says, Aql hai teri se par, ishq hai shamshir teri, mere darwesh khilafat hai jahangir teri, माँ से अल्लाह के लिए आग है तकबीर तेरी, तू मुसलमान है तो तकदीर है तदबीर तेरी. If you are a Muslim, if you are a totally submitting person to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so then destiny is actually what you plan it to be. कि मोहम्मद से वफा तूने तो हम तेरे हैं. If you are loyal to my beloved prophet, then I am at your your asking. You can request anything from me. Ye jahan, this is what I wanted to say. Ye jahan cheez hai kya? What to talk about this world? Lauh kalam tere hain. Law is the tablet on which you write your taqdeer. Kalam is the pen with which you write your taqdeer. Ye jahan cheez hai. I can give you the world, but I can also give you the ability to write your own destiny. So this distinction needs to be made, that for qaza, for ultimate meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that time is destined and written, and that doesn't change. But for your worldly things, with your efforts, you can improve your lot in this world. This is what Iqbal has been talking about, believing in that in Urdu poetry. So I don't know if anybody has any questions or clarifications on this part to ask.
Beautiful. I mean, the way I interpret all of this is that it's when we say to be in submission and to submit to the divine decree, it doesn't mean just to sit around and do nothing and just accept everything that happens to you without doing anything about it. You should live your life. You struggle, work hard, but it's more about your attitude and your acceptance to it, and not worrying about what's going to happen, right? Just completely putting your trust in Allah and knowing that whatever He decrees for you is going to be the outcome of it will be good. Whether it's life, whether it's death, whether it's trials, tribulations, difficulties in life, taking the sweetness from it, right? The qand.
Yes. Yeah. Beautiful. Okay.
Inshallah. So I guess we are 7:31.
We are on time, mashallah. Very good.
Shall we conclude with a dua?
Please do. Go ahead.
Would you like to, brother?
Well, it's up to you, but if you do it, it will be better.
Sure.
Go right ahead.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Oh Allah, we thank you for giving us the tawfiq to be here on Sunday mornings after Fajr prayer to learn from Mawlana Rumi, to learn from his wisdom, and and also to be here in the good company of our brothers and sisters. We ask that you bless upon us the wisdom of Mawlana Rumi, the wisdom of the Quran, and the wisdom of your religion. We ask that you do not take this tawfiq away from us. You continue to bless us with these gatherings so that we can continue to grow together as a group and learn from the teachings of Mawlana Rumi. Oh Allah, we ask that you give us the knowledge to fully understand the secret of Qadar and Qadar, and to be content with what you have decreed with us, and to fully understand the secrets of life and the events that come upon us.
MashaAllah. Ameen.
Ameen. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Ameen, Ameen, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Thank you very much. Beautiful.
Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah khair.
Inshallah, until we meet next Sunday.
Allah, inshallah. Have a great week, everybody.
You too.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.